we actually it's actually not something need to know topic for our course, but if we know, then it's like it's good. It's kind of a good to know topic when we are relating or working in the data field. So that is my presentation. And coming to the agenda, the first we'll see what is data center actually, and why we use it, and what sort of or different type of data centers we have in the market. And second, we'll go and check like how a data center look like from outside and from the inside, and how data center engineers, you can say field engineers or field executive, how they work inside the data center. And then we'll see a couple of component which are the majorly used in the data center infrastructure. And then we'll see the server, how the server look like, and how we actually save or store the data, and the storage, how the storage is coming from the backend to facilitate or provision the extra space what we need. And then finally, we'll check how AI is actually helping in the data center in a various way to optimize different sort of work that we'll see. And we, as I said, that I will not go and talk anything, the architect of any storage or server or anything technology will not discuss about. We'll just see the overview, how exactly it is look like, how it operate actually. So when you talk about data center, so everybody will be like this guy. So even uh, uh, when I came across about this word data center, so I was also like this. So what is data center exactly? What exactly it does? Why we use the data center? So basically, we are talking from the day one that database is sort of a dabba, right? So it's a box where we store the data. It's a, inside we are not talking like how it is table and rows, everything is there. So just imagine it's a box where we're storing the data, but that box you have to access. So for accessing, you need some sort of connectivity, some power supply. And if you have a large amount of data, then you have to have a bigger space, right? So it's same like you get your all vegetables, so you put it in a freeze, but the freeze you cannot keep outside your house. So it has to be inside so that you can give a power supply and keep it nicely, so that you can take whenever you want a vegetable from your freeze and then you can use it, right? So same like this is kind of a place where you keep all your infrastructure, your servers, storage, network, all sort of things from where you access the database, or you keep the database, you install it, you configure it, all sort of things you would do. And for that, you need a building kind of sort of things. That building is called actually data center, right? So why we use the data center? So accessing the data or having the data in some sort of box is not only the things. There are a lot of things we have to do in the background. Like you have to take backup, you have to give the availability where now 24/7 it has to be available so that you can access your data. And then the efficient amount of power supply, and any failure, like failure happened, then there should be some sort of backup and immediate response on that. So a lot more things we do in the data center. So these are only few points, but if you look at what sort of work data center does, then there is a lot. Like it will go on like page and page, right? So these are the few basic things we do inside the data center and use for the data center. Then you have four different type mainly. So enterprise data center is something a company, let's say a company, for example, Amazon. So Amazon has their own data center where they will have their own servers, own storage, all infrastructure, and to for the operation purpose also you'll have the engineers, and then different sort of people for servers also different sort of servers you have. Some will be like Windows server, some will be critical application, they'll be use Unix or Linux operating system. Then you have the virtualization, then ESX operating system, all these admin people. And basically to facilitate the all operations inside only, they will have their own people. They will not hire from outside, or they will not outsource it. They will manage everything in-house. So that is basically an enterprise data center. Then managed service is something you don't own a data center. For example, if you go to State Bank has given the data center, or they have taken in a lease for all the infrastructure from different vendor, like who provide the data center facility. In India, you have Reliance, Airtel, Sifi, all these sort of companies. And then for operations, if you go to SBI, then most of their work, like from the operations to development, it is done by TCS. So like that, they take in a lease, and then they will, there's all these people like TCS and whoever the data center infrastructure they're providing, they will uh, uh, give the service to State Bank, right? So that kind of the method, or you can say the facility, that's called managed service data center. And colocation is something the company own a data center, they have their own infrastructure, but they use for themselves, and also they provide the service to the other company, whoever they need in terms of service. So that is the third category. And the cloud, we know always that something we everybody have the Facebook, right? The Gmail or Instagram. Every so this space, there is a space. So you are saving a photo. There is a space you are taking from the cloud. That is from the cloud data center is coming. But if you are doing a business, then you need server. You need the larger space, that is storage, nothing but. So those things you have to buy from them. Basically, you don't buy by yourself any component or any hardware, but virtually you will take from the cloud provider, that is a cloud data center. So in the next slide, we'll see how the cloud data center and how they facilitate all this sort of infrastructure to us. So let's see how a data center look like from outside. So this is a Facebook data center. It is somewhere in the Ireland and the European continent. So if you look at the data center, how big it is maybe the 200-acre land they are occupying. They have their own warehouse stocks. Then they will have their own. If you look at this is a power supply. Actually, they will have their own power station sort of. Sometimes you'll see they generate their own power, like having the windmill and all. So this is the basically data center where you have all storage, server, or network infrastructure will be sitting inside. And from there, they will provide the service to the other company. Means, let's say, DataGyan need a server. So they will, in cloud, they will buy from there. Uh, these people like Facebook, let's say Facebook is providing a service for the infrastructure. So you will take the server or storage, the space, whatever it is, so that they, on that, based on your requirement, you can install all your application. I can do testing, do installation of database, you access database, you keep your data, whatever you want, right? So that kind of things is a cloud service. So if you look at the what all data center they have across the globe, this is Facebook. So this is in Asia, we have only in Singapore. So whichever like photo you are uploading in Facebook. So it is all the photos is going and getting saved in this data center in Singapore only. So likewise, if you see the Europe continent, you have the Denmark, Ireland, Sweden, all this. This is the picture which I took it from. And there are a lot more. United States, you have more, like Georgia, Arizona, so many. So basically, they have more data center in US itself because it's a US-based company, maybe because of that. But it's not like that. That US company means like they will have only more data center in US, nothing like that. Depending on their requirement, they will have like set up data center. Again, Microsoft, I think you have Chennai, Pune, and Hyderabad also they have. So coming to the slide, so this is the outside of a data center, right? So maybe a database in let's say after 4 or 5 months, you'll be working for like let's say Myntra or some other company, Flipkart. So database, maybe you will be accessing the database from here using your internet. So you may not have the in-house database, so you'll be accessing the database from here, and then you'll be doing all this analytical work, right? So coming to the inside, how it is, the inside is, these are all kind of a box. It's like a dabba. And in that box, you'll have only the hard drive. That is, if I'm talking about the storage part. So basically, storage will have the couple of component where power supply, the connectivity, then you have all sort of hard drives only that provide only the space. And you have the servers. So servers will basically will have different operating systems, and then your applications, all these sort of things you'll have inside the server. So this is, I'm not sure which data center inside, but basically it's look like that. And you cannot, people cannot go and sit here. They will not have any desk and all, because it will be so cold, and then it will be very noisy because of a lot of fans and AC things will be keep running. So you cannot go and sit and work here. So the people who operate a data center, they sits like far away from the data center. So here only the technicians or a field engineer goes and they replace, they maintain the data center, all this sort of work they do. So this is basically look like from the inside of a data center. So if you see the how the field engineer work, any failure happen sometime in enterprise level, they'll have their own admin team. So they raise a ticket to replace hard drive, power supply, all sort of like in storage, server modules, storage and storage module in server modules. So the AC things and all. So this guy, if you look at how big a server module could be, this could be server or storage. The module will be like this. Inside the this module will have processor, memory modules, all sort of components you'll have. And if you look at this sort of, as per my experience, I could guess this could be a power supply unit. So you have the black color socket for a power supply. So this will have the fan inside, and then battery, everything you'll have. So imagine how big a power supply could be in a data center or storage devices. So basically, it'll be so big that they will use a little bit kind of this kind of a cycle, or maybe a battery operated vehicle to carry the parts. Only assigned technician or the engineer will go. They will not have like a 4 or 5 people to do the task. So they will alone. They will go. They will do the replacement, and they will communicate to the people who actually work remotely. They will confirm that the part has been replaced, and they will see the whether the part is functioning or not. They will analyze a lot of logs and all. Then they will close that kind of tickets which they have raised to replace the part, failure part or something. So when you talk about the server, so server will have some limitation again. So this picture, if you see, there is some horizontal server, there's a vertical. So horizontal, these are actually called blade servers. So these servers will have basically very less number of hard drive. Let's say this one probably, let me count, 5. So 25 hard drives are there. These hard drives will be, depending on the requirement, could be 512 GB, could be 1 TB or 3 TB. Sometimes maximum it goes to 4 TB. But here you have all sort of operating system installed based on your requirement, and then applications and platform, whatever, like the SQL, the studio management studio we have installed, right? So in the actual environment, it will be installed in this kind of server from where you will access. So then network part will come. How it will communicate? You have to access using your internet or maybe a cable connection, right? So there is something called switch or router. This kind of net. These are the basically the network devices where you use for a different purpose, different connectivity for outside the data center or inside the data center. So again, in the switch, different parts will be there. So we'll not talk about the part because it will be a more technical side. So basically, switches, routers, all these are network devices which use basically to connect the servers and storage and your different component and give access to the users. So storage basically like this box, kind of a big freeze. So you have here only the hard drive. These are so many hard drives. This is device is called, again, depending on a company, they will have a different naming convention. So this is a IBM storage. So IBM storage, again, different storage name will be there. This called XIV. So like EMC, Dell EMC will have their different set of naming convention in the storage box. Then Hitachi will have Pure Storage, HP Storage. A lot of storage makers are there in the market, like servers. So basically, these storage will have only the hard drive. So if you look at these small boxes, these are all hard drives. So hard drives are basically will give only the storage. Here will not install any operating system or application. So you'll have power system at the bottom of the box. So let's say you have 25 hard drive here. Sometime these servers will have a standalone. They will not connect to any other storage. But let's say you need more space, then definitely this 25 hard drive cannot give you the required space. Then you have to attach these servers to the storage using these network switches, so that you have required space provision from the storage boxes. So when you use the Facebook, right, Facebook application, let's say install in this server. So you are accessing as a application from your mobile or from your laptop. And when you are saving a photo, actually photo is not getting saved on the server, because server is not to store your data. Basically, this is most like a processing the data, or the application side and the operating system. All this will be hosted on the server. And then real data actually will be stored in the storage system only, because the actual space is given from the storage box. So when you are saving a photo or uploading a YouTube video, it will process and then it will be stored in this kind of box, or this kind of storage boxes. And then it will not save in a single hard drive. It will be split. There are a lot of technology used by these storage devices like RAID and all. So your photo will be saved in a different hard drive, so that any hard drive fail happens, so your data will not be lost. Like you can still, you'll be accessing the data or your photos, right? One photo, if you save like a 4 GB, this the size of the photo, so it will be split it into 1 MB kind of partition. So it will be like your nose will be saved somewhere, some hard drive, your hand will be saved in some hard drive. So there is a security also. Nobody can hack your photo or your data. And then also, if there is any failure happen, then you can still, you'll have the data, right? So this is a the theory of, like, information about the storage and servers. And then if you talk about the AI, how the AI is actually helping. So we are every day generating the data and saving the data in a storage or data center. But data center itself generating a lot of data, like utilization, how much space is getting utilized, the performance, how a storage or server is performing, so power supply, lot of things. So for that also you need data analyst, a person who actually analyze those data, and then based on that they can say like, okay, storage is like a filling so fast, so people are using this storage, or that particular company having more data generating, and they're analyzing or they're saving the data, so you need more space, so you can keep on adding the more storages. And then you can people like us individually, if we are accessing the, let's say, Gmail will give a amount of space to us. After that, it will ask you money, right, to buy the more storage. So when you buy, then they have to give based on whatever the requirement you have. So those things also they analyze inside, and they will be keep doing the business out of it. So for that, now since AI is coming, so a lot of AI driven things are utilizing in the data center itself to get the many things automated, or automatically it will tell like where the hard drive is failed, where the more heat is generating, all this sort of information, so that human interventions will be less. So maybe early days, like some 20 people are working to manage the data center. Now maybe like 7 people or 10 people are managing that data center. Like that is happening because of the AI and different sort of automation tools. So this is how also a data analyst can be utilized in terms of checking the data or analyzing or predicting in the data center field. So that is all about data center and the storage functionality. If you guys have any sort of questions, you can ask.